Amid US pullout from Afghanistan, the people of the strife-torn country are witnessing chaos, poverty and hunger after the Taliban seized power. International reserves have been frozen and there is a huge potential threat of revival of terrorism in the country. While one war has technically ended, it feels as though another is just beginning. The situation has left people fearing for their lives and seeking to escape the country. A report.
Hundreds of people are gathering outside the passport office in Kabul after the Taliban officials announced they were going to resume issuing passports. Many in Taliban-controlled country are desperate to flee across the border, no matter what it takes. For common Afghans, now it is very difficult to stay in a country that is facing unemployment, poverty and uncertainty. Almost 500,000 people have already been displaced and more than half of those are children. There is a huge threat of increasing terrorism in the country and staying in Afghanistan could mean death. The recent bombing of the Eidgah Mosque in Kabul has awakened the world to the prospects of Afghanistan once more becoming a safe haven for terrorists. The explosion which killed civilians was the second major attack in the Afghan capital since the Taliban takeover.
امتیاز وختینا خپل سامان سره ناس ما غلطه سامان نشه دی ورور بشي امتیاز وشو موږ د غلان د کندې ته ګندګۍ ته ځان خطا هلته ځان خطا که بس ورور امتیاز وشو د څو کسانو پراته یو موټر وغلته ټوډي ولاړ وای دروازې خپل کې هغه هم د سيجي یو په دوانډي والا لکټي کې وو هلته پروت بس موږ بیا و تختی نو خو دی خو لاله.
On one hand, the Taliban rise has raised the possibility of a wider conflict between extremist groups, and on the other hand, it has brought big shock to the country's weak economy. Hundreds of army and police personnel have lost their homes. People are selling their household items on the streets in order to make money for survival. Many Afghan bank accounts held abroad have been frozen, and the International Monetary Fund has also suspended disbursements to Afghanistan. Experts believe that the economic collapse in Afghanistan would raise the risk of terrorism and other threats. But still, the international recognition of the Taliban is currently not on the table. The international community is facing a dilemma over whether to recognize the Taliban as the rulers of Afghanistan. The anti-women Islamist hardliners have failed to fulfill the conditions for recognition.
Certainly, it is a dilemma, because if you want to contribute to avoid the collapse of the economy in a certain way, you can consider supporting the government. And this is not the case. We don't want to support this government depending on their behavior. And their behavior, until now, is not very encouraging.
When Afghanistan is facing massive financial challenges, its notorious neighbor Pakistan is in a rush to take advantage. The initial step was taken by Islamabad as recently it announced to trade with Afghanistan in Pakistan rupee. Moreover, with the Taliban in control of NATO bases, arms smugglers in Pakistan's borderlands now hope business is back. Therefore, the international community should immediately find an effective and practical way of ending this crisis. Financial aid needs to be transferred to poor Afghan people, and this must be done without compromising the rights of women or ceding control of these resources.